Where the bloody hell were you, Rain? If we thought the second half against Gold Coast didn't go to plan, then perhaps we didn't have a plan at all in that second half against Freo. G'day everyone, welcome to Tigers of Old. I think that's the worst second half of football I've seen Richmond play in 10 years, maybe even longer. 8-16 to 1-4, 24 shots to 5 in that second half alone. It was a whitewash. How we didn't lose that game by over 100 points, I don't know. We have Freo to thank for that more than us digging in. So Josh Tracy destroyed us, as predicted. He always does. Interesting to hear they practice kicking and marking with buckets of soapy water during the week. That goes to show they are dotting every I and crossing every T. I'm not sure whether we went to the same depths of our training. Maybe we did, although I did enjoy watching our players show their hand at time zone. I thought that was pretty good. It's a bit of a concern to see that we put system ahead of winning a position on the weekend. I didn't really like that. So with Tracy, it meant that Freo could manipulate our system fairly easily. They would move Tracy further out from goal, which would mean that he would end up paired on young Trainer, and that kept him away from Bolter. It didn't work so well for them in the first quarter, but they made that change at quarter time, and obviously Trainer is still young and inexperienced and doesn't have the size and couldn't go with Tracy. And even on other occasions, he was on Miller, when really what we should have done is said to Noah Bolter, hey, we're not going with system for you today. You're playing on Tracy. You play the full 120 minutes on him and win that contest. That's really where we should have been. What we really needed was we needed Bolter to play forward and help in the ruck. So I don't know whether it's stubbornness or blind belief, call it what you want, but it's making our team worse. So it might be better for the long term. And in the meantime, maybe Gibcus could come in and relieve Bolter while he's down the back, or Gibcus could come in and help us down forward. It looks like we've not lost another forward. The problem I've got is it looks like we're putting the individual's needs ahead of what's best for the team. So we've made a commitment to Bolter to leave him down the back for this season, and we're blindly sticking to that no matter what the team needs. And right now, the team doesn't need Bolter down the back getting 7 disposals for the game. We need him where he can impact the match, whether that be up forward in the absence of Lynch or in the ruck in the absence of Nankervis, or both. We need him to help us further up the ground. We had 92 less disposals than Freo on the day, but we made 6 more turnovers. So we won one stat, which is good. We also made 8 less tackles in a wet game where they owned the ball. We can't quite work that one out. I think it was 61 tackles to 53. We also had 8 players that got less than 10 touches. Freo had 2 players that got less than 10 touches. One of them was Darcy, and he chopped us up in other areas and kicked a goal. So we just didn't have enough players who were able to win their own ball. Guess what? We lost the hit-outs, 57-9. I can't find an AFL game where a team has got less than 9 hit-outs ever. And that stat's not easily found, but I can't find one ever. So a new record for the Richmond Football Club, potentially. We lost clearances by 15 and contested possessions by 33. We lost centre clearances. We lost clearances of stoppage. We lost clearances everywhere. And unfortunately, that was one area of the ground they dominated, although not the one they dominated the most. We only took 4 contested marks for the whole match. That's the second week in a row we have only taken 4 contested marks. And I know it was wet. I know they only took 7. But we need to be, if the ball is being banged into our defence, we need to be taking more than 4 contested marks. And the number of times our defenders chose to punch when they could have marked was disappointing, to be honest. Looks like we've lost a couple more to injury. Alger with his knee and Armstrong with a foot. Looks like Armstrong, I hope it's not an navicular or something like that, but they were saying it was on the minor end. Let's hope that's right. Alger looks a little more serious, looks more like an 8 to 12er. Maybe we get him back later in the year. Hopefully it's not surgery, but it is 2 more kids that look like they will miss a large chunk of the rest of this season. So we haven't been able to take a trick when it comes to injury. Putting the numbers aside, we also made the most basic, horrible mistake. Jacob Hopper hit Alger with a missed kick on the left. I call that a left foot fluke. But other than that, he was a turnover machine. I shut my eyes when he gets the ball at the moment, unfortunately. he creates pressure for the opposition. Every time he goes near the ball, their pressure rating goes up. So Freo's pressure rating in the third quarter was around 230. I reckon Hopper had a fair crack at adding to that number himself. It just didn't work for him in that third quarter. So we don't really have the skills to play the run and gun game that the coaches are asking us to. So maybe it's a change of game plan that we need. We are a slow team that wants to play fast. Perhaps the chippity chip style is what suits us best, because otherwise it looks like we're run and done, not run and gun. We just are not capable of playing that game. We can't run it fast enough by foot because our fast players don't get enough of the ball, and we don't have the skills to be able to handball or pass by foot up through the ground. So once teams get into the halftime break and are told to go one-on-one with us and then break really hard when they win the ball, we just can't go with them, and that's when we become run and done rather than run and gun. Lawler, if we keep leaving it to him on the bottom of every pack and standing under every high ball, he's going to end every game like this one, limping. Unfortunately, he looked pretty sore by the end of that match. But all in all, there was some positives. Grull, I really like the future for this kid. It looks great. He is that Zach Butters that we're obviously looking for. Every time he goes near the ball, he's got that angry, get out of my face style. He throws it at the opponents. He gives it back to his teammates if he doesn't think they've done the right thing. He's very vocal. He's pretty hard on himself and he's pretty hard on his teammates, but he wants to win. He wants to win the ball, and the more time we give him in the middle, the better off we'll be for it. Lawler, for all the time he got crunched, does look a step above, but he needs some help desperately. He uses it really well. He creates space. He's strong. He's hard. He's determined. He's all of those things. If he can start getting it 20 plus times, then look out. He's going to have real impact. At the moment, he's around that 14 or 15 disposal player playing forward and midfield. He played a lot more midfield this week, but our midfield just got towed up in the second half and he didn't have the impact in the second half as he did in the first half. Gray looked better once he was put in the back half of the last week. We threw Miller to the Wolves in the ruck. He didn't really do any better than Lafau or Gray had done. But Gray made some good spoils down the back. Seems to have a good voice. When the team had every right to feel flat in that last quarter, Gray was still calling and yelling out and demanding that his teammates do as much as possible. So I didn't mind him down there. Maybe he goes into the back line and Boulder comes further up the ground. So for me this week, I would make mass changes. It's time for us to test some of these youngies who did all right in the VFL. Ralph Smith, not up to AFL standard at the moment. He looked all at sea. He turned the ball over when he got it. Some of his handballs just blindly back over his head or around the corner were woeful. And his opponent, doesn't matter who it is week in, week out, gets away from him. He loses them and then gets forward into a position that hurts us. So for me, Ralph Smith's got to have a run around in the reserves until he learns what the game plan is about. And he learns to just take that little bit more time to make the right decision. Hopper out, Fall out. I'd like to see him go back to the reserves, get some confidence, have some games where he clunks 10 marks, kicks 4 or 5 goals. If that's 6 or 7 games, we're better off leaving him there and then coming back in with some confidence, because the amount of times he ran under the ball, went in half-hearted, threw one hand at it, didn't want to get in other people's way, wasn't clean when he got it, couldn't kick a goal when he got it. Unfortunately, just throw him back in the reserves, let him build his confidence, then bring him back into the seniors. Alger obviously out and Armstrong obviously out. So that makes 5 opportunities next week for kids to come in to our team. Next week, we play Port at home. We've got to be within 20 points of Port at the end of the game. We've got to run the second half out. Otherwise, we become the new Carlton. In fact, we should really be expecting to win that game. They've got a new coach, a new game plan. They haven't looked all that good at times this year, so really we want to be putting in a pretty good display on our home deck. I'll put a review up of the VFL game in the next couple of days. Some players performed really well there and are knocking the door down for selection. Hopefully they get their opportunity based on merit. Thanks for watching. Please leave some comments. I'd love to know what you think. Cheers.